What is up, my kings and queens and all in between? It is Andrew Velasquez with another episode of Mindful Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm so appreciative of you guys returning and giving us those thumbs ups, those likes, those reviews. That song you just heard is called Mi Corazón. You could download wherever you stream your favorite music, written by myself, produced by Aaron McClendon. And for today, your one-stop shop for all things mindfulness, creativity, spirituality while being an entrepreneur. I have an amazing special guest. And if you're watching, you can see her gorgeous face. Yes, icon legend. If you're listening, I'm gonna introduce to you her in 1 second and give her a proper. That's how excited I am. I'm like stumbling over my words. This has been a long time coming, you guys. I have the infamous Eugenia Weston. Welcome, welcome, Eugenia. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. This is
Yes.
really, special. Thank you.
Yes, my birthday twin. I'm so
Yes.
excited to talk to you and have this conversation about your journey. But let me give you a proper introduction. You guys, Eugenia Weston, celebrity makeup artist, educator, cosmetic developer, founder, and creative director of Senna Cosmetics. Eugenia Weston's innovative entrepreneurial spirit and achievements inspire the beauty industry, including myself.
Oh,
Eugenia is a passionate, award-winning, Emmy-nominated artist who has worked with renowned actors, photographers, stylists, editors, hairdressers, cinematographers, and legendary film makeup men. She is honored to be acknowledged by the late Kevin Aucoin, my hero, in his best-selling makeup artist book, Making Faces. Eugenia created her brand, Senna Cosmetics, in 1976. Gifted with a remarkable sense of color and design, she developed a complete product range of carefully designed formulas and tools. She opened the first professional makeup and brow studio in Los Angeles, where her perfection for brows and expert makeup artistry drew a huge following. At this time, she would break ground by inventing a new brow tool that transformed and revolutionized the brow category forever, the Form A Brow Stencil Kit. As Senna's founder, Eugenia focuses on education, customer service, innovation, and authenticity. She places value on how the transformative power of makeup improves lives and brings emotional joy. She believes makeup is a language for capturing self-expression and individuality. One face has many faces, so the right makeup must fit that unique personality. Welcome, welcome, Eugenia. What a bio. Oh my God. It's
thanks.
it's an honor to have you. I'm so incredibly grateful for you to take time. How does it hear or feel to hear a little bit of your accomplishments in your bio?
I'm tired. No, no, no. I'm very blessed. I feel very blessed and very grateful for the career I have. I mean, I still work all the time. I have hundreds of clients still in our makeup and brow studios. I still do photo shoots. I still do movies. Yeah, busy, still busy. So I feel very blessed.
Well, well earned and well deserved. I know it didn't happen overnight, and it's something that you have been, pursuing and working hard for your whole life. I imagine, even your upbringings possibly shaped that. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing? Let's kind of rewind. And how was baby Eugenia? Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Were you always this creative?
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in a small town called Newhall, California, which I still live.
Okay, by
Still live.
Valencia, Six Flags.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I'm
I still live
familiar.
there. I mean, it was called Newhall before. Now it's Santa
Yes.
Clarita.
Yes, yes, yes.
And my parents moved out here in the 60s. My dad was a mason contractor, and my mother was a homemaker because I'm pure-blooded Italian, and my father wouldn't let my mother work. She had to stay home and
Yeah.
take care of the kids and cook and all
Yep.
that and clean house.
That's that
But my mother was
generation.
very, very artistic. She could make something out of nothing. She was uber creative. So I really think that she was the one that inspired me to not be afraid to do things, to create and make things and not be afraid because we were always making things, always. So I
I
really
love
feel,
that. What's
that
Mama's name?
my mother's name was Cam.
Cute. Shout out to Cam for inspiring our beautiful Eugenia to pursue the creative passion. And I do really feel that the maternal instinct has that natural creative kind of like entity and quality that I know my mom instilled in me too. So I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Okay, so cool. Mom was your inspiration. And then did you go to art school? Did you go to like a fashion school, cosmetology school? What was education like for you?
There was none. There was no education. I really don't know why or how I got involved with being so fascinated with faces. I was fascinated with faces at a super young age and makeup. I would say going back to around when I was 11 years old, I remember going into my mother's drawers. She didn't really wear makeup that much because she was home a lot. But when she did wear makeup, she seemed to put it on well, even though she didn't wear a lot. But I always remember she would put on her lipstick with a golden lipstick brush, a retractable lipstick brush, and it would always be perfect. And it was like a red coral. I remember that. But she didn't really wear much of anything else, a little base and all that, very, very natural. But I remember one Sunday, I went into her drawer and I got out a bottle of foundation and I put it on my skin, even though I was young and I had good skin. I always remember looking and I went, oh my God, it looks so good on my skin. I just loved the way that foundation looked. And to this day, foundation is my most favorite product. I love
Yeah.
foundation. I
Yeah.
love great looking skin and foundation. It's my favorite.
I mean, she had the fundamentals down. So it was about a clean complexion background and then a statement bold, solid color with her contour tool that she used. So yeah, I think it was inevitable that you were going to be inspired by those little details and nuances about because our mothers are kind of our first muses and icons. I mean, for me, that was the case as well. And I grew up in the 80s, so same, like my mom would just plop me down on her counter, her vanity, and I would just watch in awe her
Mm.
do the entire process. And it really fascinated me. So that kind of shapes us, I feel, especially ages 1 through 10, your kind of aesthetic and what kind of you're attracted to, you know what I mean, as far as like style. So I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, I was
Um,
always attracted to fashion as well. And I always got the magazines and studied the magazines and copied those looks onto myself. And actually, in my day in the 60s, you weren't allowed to wear makeup to school. And I wore a lot of makeup to school because in the 60s, eye makeup was huge.
yep,
And I would be
absolutely.
sent home from school for wearing too much makeup. And I remember my mother, I remember one time I went to a department store and I had to have all my makeup on when we went shopping. And the lady said, oh, you do your makeup so good. And I said to my mom, I said, Mom, see, that lady said I did my makeup so good. And my mother said to me, I didn't say you never did it well. You just wear too much.
Oh my, leave it to moms to always be so like brutally honest too, right? Like it's gonna hurt,
Yeah.
but it's gonna sting but it comes with love. So,
Yeah.
but
No.
that's
Yeah.
fascinating. I have a similar memory too. My mom had this really cool kind of like lipstick too, but it was a concealer stick. And I was obsessed with how light it was. And she used it for multiple things to highlight under her eye, under her brow, but also as a lip color because the kind of chola look was a little bit in style too. So then she would lip line, outline, and then just leave the concealer look like in the center. And I love that. And I love the smell of it too. So
Mhm, the
yeah, our
smell.
mothers are kind of like our first, inspirations.
Yeah, well, she was very artistic. She drew all the time. She china painted, she sewed, she cooked. I mean, she did everything very, artistically derived. So, yeah.
I
And
love
my
that.
dad, I think, was artistic too, because he was a mason contractor and he
Okay.
built fireplaces, walls, and he was really good at it. He had a really good reputation, and people loved having him do work for them.
Okay, cool. I love that. And that makes sense now with your like obsession with lines and eyebrows and symmetry. And so when did that happen? Because that I feel was something that Kevin talked about, but nobody ever really like put brows on the map until I heard of Senna Cosmetics. Like when did that like
Well,
go
yeah,
about?
brows were really not on the map. My first time doing brows was I started working for a woman that worked at a very high-end salon in the Valley, and she did brows. And at that time, this was in 1970. At that time, she and only two other companies or salons were doing eyebrow shapings. It was not something that was the usual. You to get your eyebrows professionally done, you had to be quite wealthy. So you went into a salon that you could afford to get your eyebrows done because at that time, women really did all of their own eyebrow shapings. So unless you were, had that extra money and were pampered, and this particular salon I was in, John Peter's salon, all the women were very wealthy. So they had everything done for them. And when I worked there, because this is really funny because I came from a small town and my mother did everything. She cut her own hair, she did her own eyebrows, she did everything. And so when people would come in to get their eyebrows done, I even said to them, I didn't know people had other people do their eyebrows because I did my own eyebrows too. I did
Right.
everything. And it was like, I didn't know people did that.
Yeah, it was
And
foreign.
yeah, it was an eye opener to me because I was never in that caliber of people. I never was in that, but I was very good at what I did. I had a natural talent for doing makeup. And so that's why I was hired in that salon. And I had a specific way I looked. I sewed my own clothes. I dressed pretty avant-garde at that time, pretty
Yeah.
different than anybody else, honestly, at that time. Because I
Ah,
sewed my own
that's so
clothes,
cool.
and my mother would go to thrift stores all the time, and I would buy antique clothes and I would wear them. And at that time, the people that I was around didn't do that. And they would always say, where did you get that? I'd have jewelry, I'd have alligator bags and shoes and
Oh,
velvet clothes.
love
And
that.
I mean, I'd wear it all. And they'd go, where did you get that? Oh my God. Because I would really stand out because of that.
Yeah.
I never wanted anybody to look like me. I was very adamant. And if my sister dressed and copied me, I would get really upset and I would go change my clothes. I just couldn't have anybody look like me. I was very
Yeah.
adamant about my style, how I looked. I had to look different than anybody else. It was part of how I
So cool.
was,
It's
how I
what
still am, but it's not so much anymore as I get older, but still a little,
yeah.
little.
I mean, it's our adolescence discovering our
Yeah,
individuality, our
yeah,
voice, our
yeah,
presence,
yeah.
how we're
Right.
accepted into society and how we're good. And I love that you were like, I'm not going to fit in. I'm going to stand out. Like this is not
I know.
a cookie cutter, style. Like I'm going to make you look and look twice. Like that's so dope.
It was
And
kind
I
of very brave of me to do that because I got called a weirdo a lot because of
love
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I got called a weirdo, and a lot of people just went, "Oh, she's so weird. She's weird," But I didn't mind. I didn't mind it because I didn't want to look like everybody else.
Yeah.
I didn't. In fact, I always wanted to transform everybody else. And I
Yeah.
was known for that in school. I always looked at people and I said, oh, they could look better if they did this. And oh, I want to change them. And I would do it. And I was
Yeah.
very adamant about how I thought of creating a look for someone. And
Yeah.
I did it. And I was very relentless about it too. I really was.
I feel like I'm talking to a long lost sister. I mean, I know we've talked in the past, but like we haven't had a sit down like one on
No,
one.
right.
And I'm the same way with
Yeah.
people as far as like my girlfriends growing up, my cousins, like my mom, like the tias, like same thing, like the quinceañeras, always wanting to make them over and just play dress up with them. And it's funny, I'm reading your bio, and that's one of the phrases that I've been saying for such a long time. And I had never read your bio like that. And I've always said, for me, hair and makeup is emotional in general for so many reasons, for how the individual feels after the transformation, but also for how the viewer is looking at the person that's been transformed, whether it's a publication or in person. Or so overall, it's just an emotional medium that I'm very grateful for, because it's always been a part of me, you know, and I'm sure you can relate too, because that's what shaped your individuality. In essence, also shaped your philosophy, your mission statement, and what Senna Cosmetics is about, because you brought that into your business as well, you know?
It's more than
So
makeup. It really is more than makeup. Absolutely, just what you have said.
yeah, yeah, it's spiritual to me, which
It
is
is.
why I wanted to create this safe space of crown communities, what I call everyone, and just really celebrate, for because for me, they are hand in hand. That's literally why I wrote a book that's called Love is Art, Art is Love. I can't see them
Mhm.
without each other. Like they, so it's very spiritual and emotional for me, for the human essence. When did you
What
realize
day?
that?
What day is your birthday?
Literally December 27th.
Yeah, we're born on the
We're
same
the
day.
same.
We are the same. Oh
We're
my
the same. Yeah.
God, same.
Do you know your planets that are aligned?
I'm a moon is in my rising's Aquarius and my moon Aries.
Okay. So both my sun, my moon are in Capricorn, and my Mercury rising is Sagittarius. Yeah. So yeah, we're the same. Maybe you're like the girl version of me and I'm the boy version of you.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's
yeah.
so cool. What I was gonna ask though, like, were you spiritual at all growing up, and whatever that means to
Well, I
you?
was
And
raised Catholic. I don't,
yeah,
I had
same.
to go to church all the time because we're
Yeah,
Italian Catholic,
yeah, yeah,
I
same.
think I have I don't go really to church anymore, but I feel like I feel I'm very earthy. I'm very down to earth.
Well, we're
I
earth
mean, I love
signs.
going outside and gardening. It's my favorite thing to do. I love being out
Period.
in nature. I live on 2 acres. We have so many trees and
Oh,
plants and garden and
that's
we
amazing.
grow food and I mean I love being outside. I love
I
getting
love
my
that.
hands in the dirt.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really love it.
yeah. No, I same. I see a tree, I would like to climb it and go on top of it and see how I can look at my horizon and surroundings. Like that's maybe I'm part Neanderthal too. I love it. Okay, very cool. So thank you for sharing a little bit about your origins and your bio and your spirituality. So this next segment I like to call Love is Art, Art is Love. And Eugenia, I wanted to know, what practices or routines do you have in place to nurture your creativity and spirituality while running your business?
Oh boy, what practice I have in place? Well, I have a huge, huge book collection of makeup and artists. I love
Yeah,
studying cinema, old movies and I love, wow, I work all the time. My clients inspire me too. I have so
sure.
many clients of so many different ages and lifestyles and ethnicity and everything. I mean, I study faces, which I love. I just love studying faces. Um, I think when I go to my makeup studios is where I get really inspired. And I'm working on film. This last film I did, I got very inspired by working in Savannah, Georgia. It's a really interesting city, and it was beautiful. And I
Yeah,
got really inspired there. So I get inspired by my environment, the books that I have that I read, because I have so many of different artists that I really admire,
yeah.
especially my first inspirational makeup artist and still inspires me is Serge Lutens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in awe with his work.
Yeah,
I'm inspired by, all the other artists in our industry that
yeah,
I know that I really admire their work. And I'm inspired by the people that I've trained and seeing their success.
yeah.
I've trained a lot of people in this industry, and they've gone on to really be successful. And that inspires me.
Wow.
I love educating. So, and like I say, I love being outdoors in my garden. Not that I get to
Yeah,
do it much because it's been so rainy here.
I know. I've heard LA's
So
getting
I
so
haven't
much
been
rain.
outside too much, but I get really inspired by going. I like being out in my yard. I really do.
Love that. Very
And I
cool.
love travel. I mean, I love being inspired by traveling. I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to
Nice.
Chicago to teach some classes. And yeah, I get inspired by our community. I
Yeah,
love our community. I love the makeup show. I love the powder group.
same.
I really
Yeah.
do love those two entities, and all the people
We're
there
so
that
lucky.
I've met. They're so great, great people.
Yeah, I pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, but then it makes sense that these beautiful lights are brought together to inspire and uplift others.
Hmm.
And it's pretty powerful. I've been calling this the artist renaissance that I'm trying to, you know, pursue and make that be viral like sensation for people because we've had so much negativity in the past that
Oh
can
gosh.
also affect us. But I like to focus on the positive, and so that's why I wanted to have this, really cool, safe space for that. I
Mhm.
love that. But can you share any tips or advice for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to incorporate more creativity and maybe spirituality into their work?
You know what really inspires me? Color theory. I have to say probably number one is color theory too.
Yeah, I'm
I
obsessed
really
too.
get turned on by color theory, and I have so many color theory books, and I go back to them and read them, and I really do
I
color.
love your lives, your Wednesday lives,
Oh,
getting ready with Eugenia, and you'll bring out some of that literature and actually
yeah.
walk us through the origin, the history. Like it's class. I love that
I
we're
love
forever
the history.
learning.
I do say I love the history of makeup and all the people that have paved the ways before us. I'm very fascinated by how they did it and where they started and how where they've gone and where they've come from. I get very inspired by that. And I find because I train and I have a lot of young people that are in my staff, makeup artists, and I I just think that they're missing out because they don't study the history. And I don't know if I'm just old fashioned, but even when I was younger, I studied the history. I knew everything. That Richard Corson book, oh my God.
It was like
I
your
got
Bible.
every book, every
Hmm.
old magazines from the 20s and the 30s. Even when I was really young, I was fascinated by all of the vintage aspect of makeup artistry and Max Factor and how he developed
Hmm.
makeup for the cinema
Hmm.
and all the different lighting, how all the lighting has changed and the film stock has changed and all that. I'm fascinated by all of that. I love history.
Yeah.
Love the history of makeup and our industry.
Same.
Yeah,
And
I love
I
it.
whenever I'm in Los Angeles, I do teach at cinema makeup school regularly, and there's a whole week on the history of hair, makeup, fashion, and how it has shaped, the
Yeah.
industry. And we go all the way back to Egyptian era,
Yep.
Marie Antoinette, the 18th century, the hygiene, the
Hmm.
first, red lipstick by Cleopatra and what was incorporated, the crazy ingredients and the first lashes, the first false lashes glued or sewn onto fish scales and just the history of drag makeup too, and
Hmm.
the history of LGBTQ and first Pride and it's yeah, I'm with you. It's like again, you're my long lost sister that I've never known I had, and now I know even more, and I love it. So that's
Hmm.
so cool. Thank you for sharing that. So you're, pretty successful. You've had Senna Cosmetics since 1976, right?
Yep.
And you are published, you're in the industry, uh, I don't know if you're represented by an agent or
Yep.
just a
Hmm.
union. Okay, perfect. And then, so how do you measure success now in both your creative and entrepreneurial pursuits? And do they ever overlap in any way?
I think it's just the passion I have for it. I just love it so much and I practice it all the time. So I feel like I'm very good at it. And people recognize that in myself. And so I think they gravitate, that certain people that like how I think about
Yeah.
beauty, they just gravitate to me.
Well, and
And
it comes so natural, the confidence that you
it
have with
does. It
it.
comes natural. I've always had major confidence in makeup.
I love
I
that.
mean, I think I have less confidence now than I did when I was younger. Yeah, I don't know. It's like there's so much out there. It's like I'm going, oh, my head is spinning with
There is a lot. There is.
there's so much. But then I went because I've studied the history of it, nothing's new.
Correct.
I mean,
No.
nothing's really new. When you go back and study it,
Nope.
nothing's new. It's just brought on in a new way or
Uh-huh.
just at another time.
And it's just named something different where it's given a twist, or it's a combination of different eras from, other inspired.
I mean, there is new technology which has
Sure.
changed
Sure.
formulations and all that. And now with AI, and now Alex Box has put in a new software program where you can, do makeup online, this incredible thing that she's invented. I mean, there is a newness and
Sure.
things that have never been done before in that
Yeah.
aspect.
Absolutely. I love
But
that.
but still, faces haven't changed that much. We still have eyes, lips, and a face.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you still make it up basically using the same
Yeah. We still have
basic
anatomy. We still
fundamentals.
have face shapes. We still have
It's like,
the golden ratio, the rule of
yeah,
thirds. We still have all those
yeah,
original
still
concepts
the
that,
same.
will help you
Yeah.
transform. Okay, cool. So I like to call this section, How Are You Gonna Love Somebody Else If You Don't Love Yourself First? So what is your self-care beauty regimen? Do you take time for yourself selfishly before you service others? And do you have any tips and beauty tricks that you want to share?
Well, I do have to say I really take good care of myself. I don't eat out that much. I cook most of the time myself, so I think that's
The beautiful
important.
Italian skin too.
Yeah, I do exercise. I do Pilates, which I think helps a lot because as you get older, this is what I find because I have a lot of mature women that come to me. And what they haven't taken really good care of themselves, and then they want to start when it's a little bit too late times. I
Yeah.
feel that you
Yeah.
have to start young and actually with
Hmm.
social media and the way it is now, girls and guys are starting young now, which is good,
Absolutely.
taking care
Hmm.
of themselves, which I think is really, really important. And I mean, I take really good care of my skin. I really don't get facials that much because I feel my skincare regime that I do on myself is adequate enough.
Yeah.
And I work so much, I really have to do it to myself at night, when I'm home.
Absolutely.
I I do get like a haircut a couple times a year, but I henna my own hair. I don't dye it, I henna my
Which
hair.
is also natural and
All
organic.
natural.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
henna my hair, I do it myself. Um,
It looks lovely.
and I just, people think I'm a lot younger than I look. I mean, than I am, than I look.
I
People think
understood you.
people think I'm a lot younger than 74. They always get kind of amazed,
Okay, I did
that
not know that.
I'm
I was gonna,
74 years old. They go, "Oh
no,
my
I
God,
was,
Eugenia." But I think mainly too, as I mean, I don't know what age group you have watching your
all ages.
podcast, but I feel that you have to, especially when you get older, you have to make sure that you are balanced so that you don't fall and, have to get, shoulder surgeries, knee surgeries, hip surgeries. I mean, I feel so blessed. I've never had anything like that ever.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I have a lot of energy. I'm very active. And I think you have to stay, my Pilates instructor says motion is lotion. So you got to keep yourself going. And you have to, you have to eat well. You have to eat right.
So many great takeaways. The fact that you are eating from your garden, what you're putting inside your body is what's feeding your mind, body, soul, and why your skin is so radiant and the hair is so luscious. The
Of course, it's
Pilates,
my Senna skincare too, my Senna skincare.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell my husband to turn the air down because it just bumped up. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I hate being cold.
Actually, I think I can do it really quick. Give me one second.
Go ahead.
Got it. Oh, hello. It should be turning off soon.
You know,
I didn't.
it does take time. You know, you have to take that time for yourself and get yourself into a regime and not slack on it, you know, not slack on it. A lot of
Yeah,
women that I work with, they go, "Oh, I don't like to take my makeup off at night," or that kind of thing. And it's like you really have to do all those things if you want to maintain your health, your beauty. And I don't know what woman does not want to look and feel beautiful. All the women I work with, they want to, look and feel beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. You said it perfectly. Yeah, no, I have vivid memories of my mother using like hot compress to remove the makeup and then breaking it down and then very mommy dearest style, like Joan Crawford, have a bowl of like ice with witch
Mm,
hazel and then
mhm.
dumped her face like almost like a
Yeah,
cold plunge to close the
yeah.
pores. So I saw that at a very young age too. And you better believe at age 10, I was using her Lancome, her Shiseido, her Dior, and already putting on like the eye creams. And I didn't really need it, but I was so fascinated with just the packaging, the smells of it. And
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, so let's talk about Senna Cosmetics. How did that go about? I mean, I know the brow story and I love that. So there was a need for, I imagine, brow products as you were performing the services.
Well, okay, how I started Senna Cosmetics, it wasn't my idea to start my line. Remember
Okay.
when they're beginning, you asked me, I worked for a girl that taught me how to do eyebrows in the John
Yes,
Peter salon.
correct.
She had her own makeup line.
Okay.
Okay, so I worked for her for 5 years, and there were amazing hairdressers there. They were so talented. It was incredible. And I got pregnant with Theta, and I quit because in those days there was no maternity leave or anything. So I
Right.
quit, and I didn't know what motherhood would bring, so I didn't know what I was going to be doing. So Theta was 3 months old, and I get a phone call from one of the hairdressers that worked at the salon. Her name was Jerry Cuzenza.
Okay.
And she called me and said, Eugenia, I am going to leave John Peters and start my own salon. And it is going to be the best salon, the most incredible, innovative salon in the whole valley. There will be nothing like it. And you need to come with us and create your own makeup line.
Hmm.
And my husband said, we're doing that. I didn't know what to say. He goes, we're doing.
Yeah.
And because she was a force and she was super innovative, she happens to be the founder of Sebastian International Hair Care Product.
Wow.
She
Okay.
did that a little bit after she opened up her
Yeah.
salon, but that's how incredible she was. Her vision, she was a visionary and
Yeah.
a force not to be reckoned with. I have to tell you, she was something. And so
Wow.
my husband and I, we flew to New York because there's no manufacturers here in Los Angeles. All the manufacturing and cosmetics was on the East Coast. So we flew to New
Sure.
York, opened the yellow pages and looked up labs and cold called labs
Yeah.
until we
Yeah.
found different labs that could make products that was my aesthetic.
Yeah.
I had an idea exactly what I wanted, and we created the makeup line, Senna.
Yeah.
The rest is history. We went into her salon, and it was amazing because everybody in town went to that salon. Everybody came there. Everybody,
Incredible.
producers, actors, everybody came there. It was really amazing.
And still privately owned, still run by you and
Yeah,
family and
yeah.
not huge corporation,
No,
which makes it even more special and quality because I imagine you're like touching everything. You're
everything.
behind, yeah, you're behind all the things. What does Senna mean for you?
The name Senna?
Hmm.
The name Senna is I have a Harley Quinn logo. And I named her Senna because I love vintage, and it was from actually a hand painted. I should have had a picture here to show you.
You can send
Oh,
it to me
actually, no,
later.
I do. Here it is. Here's my Senna
Oh,
girl.
there it is.
Here's my
Yeah.
Senna girl. That's my original Senna girl. She was from my mother's China painting book, and I named her Senna.
Back
And
to your
she
history. Back to
and
the
she
obsession with it.
symbolizes beauty, illusion, and transformation. And so I named her
Um,
Senna.
love it.
Yeah, I named
Gorgeous.
her Senna. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So cool. Yeah, it's inspiring. I've known about Senna for such a long time, and then obviously I had all of Kevin's books, and he was my hero as he is to so many. And then he, of course, if he says Senna is the best for brows, like we are going to use it. So that's what we were using from back in the day. So,
Well, he used to buy, okay, when I met Kevin, and he actually acknowledged me in his Making Faces book. My
mhm.
name is in there, but he, before he had his line, he used to buy uh, dozens and dozens of my brow Sketch-A-Brow pencil. It happens to be the best blonde pencil on the market.
Yeah,
It's good, but he
yeah.
bought them by the dozens all the time before his line because it's a good color. It's really good.
Yeah, well, he was obsessed with bleaching everyone's brows or
Yes.
over tweezing them and then giving that very like faint,
Yeah.
1920s kind of
Yeah. So
vibe.
my blonde Sketch-A-Brow was his go-to. Yeah. After I met him. Yeah.
Amazing. That's iconic. I love hearing stories like that. Oh my God. I love it. Okay, cool. So you guys, for season two, we have an amazing segment that I like to spotlight for our guests.
The library is open! Because reading is what? Fundamental! There you have it, darling.
This is an opportunity for them to share their favorite book. It's called The Library is Open. It's not to share shade, it's to share light and inspire. And I know that you're a fan of books and literature. So if you want to give us maybe your favorite top book, maybe your top three and why.
Well, Serge Lutens, as I said
You did
before,
mention
I
that. Yeah.
I love. So he's my first inspiration. He is unbelievable because he has a powerful, iconic, unique style that's so provocative and eye-catching. And his way of like staging a face with makeup, it's just so unique. I mean, he's a photographer, he's a makeup artist, he's a product developer, he's a visionary, he's a perfumer, and he was, the artistic director for Dior in the 60s. And
Yeah.
so I just have always been in awe of Serge Lutens. He's my first, foremost favorite book artist.
Yes, yes,
Then
yes.
another book that I really love, I mean, I have a color theory book by Joseph Albers called Interaction of Color. That is another favorite book of mine, Interaction of Color by Joseph Albers, because I took the class at Otis Parsons. And why I like it so much is because it teaches you the interaction of color. And the exercises that we had to do is we had to take color paper background and then put different color paper on top of the two different backgrounds and make them look different. And then we had to take backgrounds and make two different colors look the same. And I have to tell you, it's mind-boggling.
All right.
And I just the Joseph Albers, that whole concept, his color concept blew me away. So I love that book.
Very
And then
cool.
another book I really love is Four Fabulous Faces
That's a
by
good
Larry
one.
Carr. And I really love that book. That book has been a teaching tool for my classes since I began because it just shows the evolution of these actresses, what they went through with the studios, how their looks changed, and it talks about the lighting and then the photography and all that, like the Hurrell photography and all the photography, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, amazing. So those are three of my top ones.
Those are good ones. Sir Luton, Interaction of Colors, and Four Fabulous Faces. You heard it here, you guys. So take those notes if you want to really expand your horizons on more color theory and face
Gotta
shaping.
learn color theory. That's what I have learned about teaching new artists that come and work for me. They don't know color theory.
Correct.
If you
Or
know color theory,
undertones.
you can do anything. I mean, I never went to school. There was no schools when I did makeup. You
Right.
had to, I mean, I just had a good eye for it. I recognize undertones and color. I just naturally have a good eye for that. Um, but I did study color because I had to
Yeah.
start teaching it to my staff. And I realized they just never understood it, but it is a science. It isn't easy. You have to really study it, and it can get complicated, but it's so fascinating. It's
Hmm.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm it's one of my favorite topics to teach as well. I'm fascinated by it. And the more we, like you said earlier, the more we have growth with technology, the more even important it is to know about background color theory, lighting, so we can
Mhm.
adapt and evolve technologies that are changing the industry.
How it
So,
changes, because in Joseph Alber's book, he talks about how color is deceptive, and you have
mhm,
to know what it's around, the backgrounds it's around, it changes. And that's,
mhm,
as a makeup artist, that's what we deal with, because when the skin
yeah,
tone changes, the color you put, a different skin tone, when you put colors on it, it changes. And so
yeah.
that's why I love the Joseph Alber's book.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. So, okay, you're so impressive. I'm so proud of you, and you're so important to our community and just what we have seen and grow and evolve and what you bring to the table. What are your highlights? Give us some like top three moments of like that's what I was here to do. Like, I am proud of that. I have made my stamp, and your top three standout moments that you are very proud of to share with us.
Let's see, top three. Well, I guess one of my very, very, very first was with Jerry Kazenza. I will never forget this because she did a lot of photo shoots. I was so young. I had just started. I never did stuff like this, but I did it. I mean, I was asked to do it and I did it. But I remember I did a photo shoot with her for Sebastian or something. And in those days, you never got paid. You just did it. You had classes, you never had to
Right.
pay for classes. You had to do the classes with her
Yeah.
company, and you had to work your ass off, and you never got compensated for it. I mean, now there's all these laws. You have to pay everybody to do everything. But then we
Yeah.
just did it. And I remember we got finished with the photo shoot or whatever we were doing. It had to be a photo shoot. She handed me $100 bill. And
Yeah.
I was in shock. I was in shock. As I was leaving, that well, I never realized that I would even get paid for it. It was like
Wow. Yeah.
it
No.
was like, wow, that was incredible. So that was like a moment. I guess another moment was when I was asked to do a photo shoot for Tony Basil, and I did not know her. See, okay, I'm going back to the 70s when in LA there was only really 5 makeup artists, and
Right.
I was
Right.
one of the 5. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing was happening in LA. It was all in.
No.
We were like
Right.
poo-pooed on, LA's like doesn't do fashion. We're not good at that and all that. So when people would come into town once in a while from New York, photographers, we would get asked. But everything also that went on in LA, like all the articles for the LA Times and the magazines and all that were happening in LA, I got called all the time. I did so much work. I got called for everything, everything. And I guess one of the big ones was that Helmut Newton was coming to town
Ooh.
because it was raining in New York, and he
Uh-huh.
wanted to shoot in sunny California.
Sure.
I was asked to do the shoot with Helmut Newton. But this is really funny because when he got here, it was raining.
Oh no, he brought it with
But we
him.
but we did the shoot, but it was raining.
Yeah, well, LA Rain's a little bit different. Well, maybe not now, but
But
back in that day, LA was a
oh,
little.
he was not happy.
Yeah.
He was not happy. But that was like, and people in my salon were coming up to me, oh my God, I can't believe you got to work with Helma Noon. I was like, I don't know, I got asked to do jobs with huge people. I even worked with Anna Wintour before she was editor of Vogue magazine. I mean, it was the beginnings for all of us. It was
Sure.
the beginnings of her. It was the beginnings of Herb Ritz. It was the beginning of Matthew Ralston. We were all beginning, and we
Yeah.
were all in the same time period. We were
Yeah.
all beginning. It was
Yeah.
our beginnings, and we got to do all these incredible jobs.
Wow.
It was pretty incredible. And then working with Miss Basil, I guess she introduced me to Bette Midler. So then
Mm.
I started working with Bette Midler, and I was asked to do movies, which I never thought I would do film. I love doing print and
Hmm.
magazine work. That was really my highlight. I really like doing that kind of work more than I never wanted to get into film. It was nothing. I never
It's a
pursued it.
different, yeah,
I
it's a
never
different beast.
wanted it, never interested me because I always had my business too. I had my
Hmm.
cosmetic company. So I
Hmm.
had that. I did a lot of freelance. So I didn't really need to do movies, but
Hmm.
she wanted me to. So I started doing movies. And
How
I
was
never
that?
was trained to do movies. I
You just
just
learned.
I learned by the makeup men that were
Mm.
on the movie. She made them train me. She's
Yeah.
like, she's she's really that is a huge long story though. It is a huge long story. How I
Yeah.
got in the union, how I was trained. It's a huge long story.
That's its own podcast. Well,
It does have its own podcast. I'm
maybe
telling
there's
you, it
room
is
for
a
that.
long story how I got in the union and everything. It's a long one. It's a long one.
I mean, I'm hearing yes, you're super talented. I know that you have that natural eye for shape, balance, structure, but also you're blessed. Like you have angels.
I do. I
You
do.
have protection that have guided you and probably attracted these other beautiful lights
Yeah, they have.
that
Yeah, because
are,
people they see that in me and they want to give me these
I
opportunities, which
feel it.
yeah, that's how it happened. Really, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
which is why it goes back to being spiritual too, which is just as important. I
Yeah.
love that. I could talk to you forever. This is so fun.
Yeah, it
You're
is.
my long lost sis. I can't. I've always wanted a sister too.
Oh,
But
okay. Well,
yeah,
here I
no.
am. I could actually be your
Um,
mother.
I know. My mind's tripping though, because I really
How
thought you were
old are
like
you?
50. I'm 42.
Oh, yeah, I have a 48-year-old daughter.
That's crazy.
So I mean, I have a 41-year-old son. So I'm your makeup mama. See, I'm
No.
everybody's makeup mama now because I'm this age.
But we look like we could be related. Like we're not too far from age. Like that's
Yeah, thank
also
you.
going back to just the taking care of yourself and your body, and that's what keeps you and you're happy. Like you and what you do, what brings you joy and the
Yeah,
joy that you have with your
it does.
clientele, that's all
Yeah.
you youthful and protecting that innocence of just that like magic, those sparkles that we still get with our I mean, I know I get them still with
Yeah,
my
I
clients, and I'm
do.
sure
I
you do
do.
too.
I do love it. I mean, I don't know about any other subjects, just about makeup. I can talk about anything, but other subjects,
Same.
forget it. I'm so immersed in it. I really am. I
Yeah.
really am.
It's in your blood, babe. It's
It is.
literally in your
Yeah.
DNA. Well, I could talk to you forever, but we have our final segment that I'm really excited about because I can't wait to hear your answers to these.
Oh, okay.
Wrapping up mindful artist rapid cues, Miss Eugenia Webb. Question number one, who is your hero and why?
Who's my hero? Wow. Oh, wow.
In the past, people have chosen maybe career hero and then a personal hero, so you can do the same.
My career hero. Oh, well, I think I'm going to say Tony Basil because as
Good
my
answer.
career hero because she's opened up a lot of doors for me. She's believed in me so much that she really opened up doors for me. Yeah.
Shout out to Joni Basil. Love that.
And
I
I
had
guess
a
my other hero has to be my daughter. She,
yeah.
I call her mom now because she bosses me around, but she's pretty great. And
What's her
she,
name?
Theta,
Theta. How do you spell
Theta.
that?
So she, when she was born, that's when I started Senna. So I have to say maybe that was a whole
Part of it.
part
Yeah.
of it,
That's
Yeah,
your other baby. Yeah.
my other baby.
Incredible. I love that. I had a brief little flashback memory as you were talking about Sebastian. Um, I'm from LA too, but I grew up more on the east side. But when I ventured out on my own, I lived in the Valley too for a long time. So I went to West Valley Occupational Center for
Oh yeah,
Cosmetology,
yeah,
and down the street was a Sebastian Trucco
yeah,
pyramid like center where we
yeah.
would get
Mhm.
our products on discount. And I remember being fascinated with the makeup and because they had a line that was called Truco,
I
I believe.
designed Truco for them.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was at their salon and
Yeah.
we had Senna and then John Sebastian, her husband, he said, I want to create my own makeup line because I was teaching classes and they would come and learn about the hair and the makeup. And he did not want Senna. He said, I want it to be all Sebastian. So
Yeah.
then I created the first phase Truco line so that when we did the seminars, they could buy the Truco makeup, the Sebastian makeup, and have the Sebastian hair care
Yeah.
products as well.
Well, I bought all of that, so it makes so much sense that it was high quality because you designed it. So
Yeah,
that makes a lot of
designed it.
sense.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And my like first official, well, it was like my second official makeup job while I was still in beauty school was at Gautier Total Image Spa in Sherman Oaks on Ventura. So I remember all those salons that were right there, which is
Yeah, there was a
probably
lot
your,
of them.
yeah, just so many, just all
Do you
trying
remember
to,
Alan Edwards Salon?
yes, yeah, I didn't work there, but I remember of it,
Yeah,
and that was like
because
a
I was in
competitor.
all their salons too. At one point, I was in 14 salons.
Of course, you're so
Yeah,
popular.
14
And
makeup and 14 salons. Because there, when I had my makeup studio, which I left Sebastian after 5 years, Cassandra 2000, and I went across the street and opened up my own makeup studio. There was nothing like it. There was no
no,
professional makeup studios in the late 70s, early 80s. No way. There was
so
none.
cool.
And so everybody came to our studio, every all the Beach Boys wives, the Eagles wives, Michael Jackson, Heather Locklear. I mean, everybody, all the makeup artists came because I had colors that really nobody had at that time, and they would flock. Everybody came.
Yeah.
That's how I think I've maintained a reputation because I've still stayed in the business, and a lot of people remember, the history, our history.
And humble too. Always, smile on your face and just super genuine and
Well, that's
graceful.
just because
So,
I'm here with you now. No, I'm joking.
yeah.
I
But
have to get a
I
good. I have to put on a good, aura here. No, I'm kidding.
I'm also hearing there's a potential book. I don't know if you've ever thought about that or
Well,
you
everybody wants me to
journal.
write one. Yes, people do want me to
Babe, it
write
would be
one.
so good. Like, I mean, just talking to you about the stories, like you have chapters beyond chapters and essays of just,
Yeah, I do. I do have a lot of. I'm
I
just
mean,
really not disciplined that way. I really have to find someone that could, help me do that because I'm not disciplined.
well, you're friends with me, you're friends with Melanie Mills. We both done it, and she had
You've done,
introduced me to,
yeah, and is it
yeah,
okay?
it's right here. Yeah. Yeah, it's called Love is Art, Art is Love. I did body art makeup on 10 models that
Right, right. Oh, okay. I
it
just
was
don't
a
know where to start.
it's possible. It's possible. It's journaling. It's a little bit of word vomit at first, but whenever you're inspiring and maybe waking up, dreaming, you just type away. It starts out as like essays and then it triggers memories. I often would go back to music that I listened to in a particular era, and then it would bring me back to that
Yeah,
memory.
yeah.
And
I have a lot of memory. It's just that I hate sitting in front of a computer
you know
typing.
when it would come to me a lot during travel. Anytime I was
Yeah,
in a plane, I would bring out this
yeah,
and just start typing because I don't know, there's something about the altitude that
yeah.
uh
I see
triggers
that.
inspiration. So
I
I just
see that.
start
Yeah.
typing that. So I don't know. I encourage you if you have, we can talk about this later, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give you
yeah.
some pointers. All
Okay.
right. Question number two. Wrapping up Mindful Artist Rapid Cues for Eugenia. What is your favorite music album of all time and why?
Steely Dan.
Say it again.
Steely Dan.
Chili Dan?
Steely Dan. You don't know
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan? Oh my God.
I'm writing it down. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't.
What's
I
the
just
name of
love.
the album?
I love Asia. AJA. Asia.
Okay,
I love
perfect.
Steely Dan. I don't. I love that group. I love. I love a lot of music. I love all kinds of music.
Because it's spiritual too. It like motivates us.
I love music. I love it. I love it. I love
Same.
every genre and but I love Steely Dan. I really
Okay. You answered it really fast, so that's
Yeah, I
that's
got
great.
that.
That was rapid. Love it. All right. Wrapping up Mindful Artist Rapid Cues. Final question, Eugenia. What is your favorite quote?
Oh, I know that one. Leonardo da Vinci. It's a quote. He says, okay, I got to remember this exactly. Oh my God, wait, I gotta remember this exactly. Okay. The artist's eye sees what others only get a glimpse of.
That's deep. I felt that.
Leonardo da Vinci. The artist sees what only others get a glimpse of.
Wow.
The artist's eye sees. The artist's eye sees what others only get a glimpse of. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
That's
hero.
my favorite. I love Leonardo da Vinci. I love.
He's hero. I have his book too.
Oh yeah, I
it's
love
huge.
his sfumato technique of painting. No
Yes.
edges, everything like evaporates out,
Yes.
and I just love him. I love.
Ahead of his time. Talk about airbrush theory without even knowing that that was a thing. You know what I mean? But
Sfumato.
yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. And
It's
I
a
love you.
it's a painting technique.
Yes, yes. This
Mhm.
was fun. You're a
Oh,
delight. I had such a great time. I wish we had more time, but our show is only an hour.
yeah. I know.
I'm gonna have to get you back on here, and I'm gonna give you some advice on that book if you want it. If I'll give you
Well, I
some.
will. Thank you. Maybe
Yes.
this is another magic moment where people tell me all the time because they ask me questions and I tell them about something and they go, "You have to write a book. You have to write a book." And I just, like I say, I'm not disciplined, but maybe this is a moment. Then.
I mean, as you're describing it, I see it cinematically so vividly. So I can only imagine reading it, is going to be even more vivid. So yeah, I think you should, babe. But thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. This has
Where
been a
can we follow
pleasure.
you? Where can we support your brand? And do you want to plug any new announcements?
Well, it's SennaCosmetics.com. And then my Instagram is Eugenia.Weston. And I mean, we are coming out with some new products. I just came out with my new
Yes.
mineral pressed makeup, which is incredible. Barely Base, which is a tinted moisturizer. And I'm working on a lot of things because what happened during COVID is that a lot of things happen. So it's been challenging. We're still pretty
Yeah.
much in recovery. We're just able right now to start creating some new products. So my next product is concealers, which would be incredible.
Yes.
I've been out of concealer. My clients are having fits.
Yeah.
And then I'm working on blushes. I'm working on some new brow products, of course.
Amazing.
And I invented Forma Brow, I invented a lot of products that were never on the market before, which was stencils and a brush, which were never on the market before. I do have a lot of stories.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on. We're gonna talk, and I'm gonna give you some advice. I'd say me, you, and Melanie get on a call, and we just kind of like brainstorm and powwow and help you, and we'll encourage you.
Oh, thank you. That's so
Of course.
sweet.
Thank you for being here. You
Thank
guys,
you.
this is your one-stop shop place for all things mindfulness, creativity, spirituality, well-being, and entrepreneur. We have Eugenia Weston here. Thank you so much for being here. That song you're about to hear is called Mi Corazón, produced by Aaron McClendon, written by myself. Make sure that you give us those thumbs ups, those reviews, share this show with somebody that you love, that you know it'll resonate with, because the more that will happen, the more this will be exposed to everybody else. Till the next time, you guys, make an impact in somebody's life. Much love and light to you all. Thank you, Eugenia. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.